Hello everyone, welcome back to a different kind of video today. We're going to be doing a Gambit guide. If you don't know, Gambit is a hybrid game mode of PvP and PvE. And yes, I do have face cam up. There will be no gameplay, purely face cam. Let's hop into it. What are we waiting for? So I do have a script I will be reading. I'm not making eye contact. I'm looking at something. That's why. Let's hop into this. Gambit is a hybrid of PvE and PvP. In Gambit, your objective is to kill enemy factions, either Cabal, Fallen, Hive, Taken, Vex, or Scorn, and collect their dropped motes. These motes are what you're going to need to win. They are the key factor. I want a quick mention. What I'm going over right now is basic stuff. For those who don't know what Gambit is, if you're just hopping into Forsaken, because I know a lot of people are waiting for guides to come out, or reviews to come out before they bought Forsaken. Just want to see what the raid was about, strikes, guides and reviews and stuff. Again, yeah. And so we're going over some basic information. Then we'll be going into more classified stuff, not classified, but more advanced stuff, such as subclasses and strategies and all that good stuff. High-ranking enemies in factions in their respective factions will drop more motes. For instance, a Centurion will drop more motes than a Red Legionary. You can deposit 5 motes for a small blocker, which is a Taken Phalanx, 10 motes for a medium blocker, which is a Taken Knight, and 15 motes for a large blocker, which is a Taken Ogre. 15 motes is the maximum that you can deposit and hold at a time. When you bank motes, it counts towards your overall total of 75 motes banked. This total of 75 is carried throughout your entire team. At 25 motes total, one member of your team may go idle, or may go and invade the opposing team's side. For a limited amount of time, which is 20 seconds, you'll be able to see and kill enemy players. Kill them and they will lose their motes, but the same thing can happen to you as well. Death in any way resets the motes you are carrying. Keep that in mind. If you're carrying 15 motes and die, you will lose those 15 motes. They will not be dropped on the ground. Gone. Just out of there. So keep that in mind. So again, you're going to want to keep an eye on how many motes you have and how many motes your team can dunk total. To know how many your team can dunk total, if everyone would dunk, there will be a white bar next to the colored bar. The colored bar will show how many you have. The white bar will show how many you can get if everyone dunks. If all motes are deposited, that is. Once a team hits 75 motes banked, a primeval will be summoned. The primeval is a giant major in the form of a taken enemy. So this can be a... Well, let's go over this. The primeval is a giant major in the form of a taken enemy. Possible primevals can be knights, captains, centurions, ogres, minotaurs, and even the Eye of Riven, which is the ascendant plane guard from Malphision's quest. He is a very rare spawn. I've gotten him to spawn once, and we didn't get to kill him. So a little bit disappointed on that. But he can spawn. Those are all of the possible primevals you can get. Now, of course, they will have different. Each one of them has their own attack that they use. That's really annoying. They're all annoying, really. Minotaur is just Minotaur. I guess the take a blast is annoying, and the invisibility that they go into. Ogres, their attack can knock you back. Taking captains, their darkness bolt will blind you, and it hits like a truck. The Centurion will just flat out stomp you and throw Axion bolts, which hurt. And then Knights, which just shoot fire everywhere. And then you have the Ascendant guy who just goes immune at times. Over time, you will get a damage buff, which I should say, in order to get this damage buff, you will need to kill 2 primeval envoys. These are primeval wizards, my bad. These wizards have a void shield, so make sure you have a void shotgun, such as the Retold Tale, which is the Dreaming City one, that with a full auto trigger system, and backup mag is what I usually use when I play Gambit. It does pretty good. As soon as you take out those envoys, you will get your Primeval Slayer, which basically does more damage. It will stack up to 10. Once you get 10, it will, in fact, pretty much just destroy the boss with whatever you've got, whether it be a auto rifle to a rocket launcher. Now, you can invade while a Primeval is present. Killing opposing enemies while a Primeval is present will heal the Primeval on the opponent's team, which means they'll have to put more damage into it. The first team to kill their Primeval will win the round. This process is repeated again. Whichever team gets 2 victories wins the match overall. If it is a 1-to-1 situation, a tiebreaker game will be present. Time is limited, so keep that in mind. This is just to give you a basic understanding. Loadout tips and tricks are next. In my earlier videos, I was using a Ghost Primus, the Icolo shotgun, and Sleeper Simulant. You're going to want to use a weapon that you are comfortable with using in PvP, a weapon for PvE, and a weapon for good DPS, or just another weapon of your choice that you like to use. Alright, but now, this is what I'm using right now. I go Sleeper Simulant, because it just destroys. Excuse me. So Sleeper Simulant. I forgot that rifle. I use an auto rifle, and then I use the Retold Tail, which is a full auto trigger system and has backup mag, and I believe it has high high impact. So that is the way to go. Icolo Shotty does really good as well. I just don't like to use it because it just doesn't hit as hard as it used to. But that's what I would use. That's what I currently use right now. Other weapons, I'll go over in a bit. Popular weapons. In the trial for Gambit, the popular weapons consisted of Sleeper Simulant, the Icolo Shotty, Midnight Coup, Red Jix's Claymore, Relentless, Whisper the Worm, DFA, Telesto, and Tractor Cannon. Now, believe it or not, Tractor Cannon is actually a really good weapon to run, especially if your team has little damaging weapons. If your team has a bunch of damaging supers, Tractor Cannon is ideal because Tractor Cannon, with its rework that it got a while back, any elemental damage is increased instead of just specifically void, which is awesome. So definitely a good variant if you want to play a supportive role, which then, of course, if you are running EP Shotty or just any full auto shotgun, go for it. Make sure it's elemental, though, because normal shotguns, kinetic weapons do not do a damage buff, will not get a damage buff, so make sure you're using an elemental weapon. Team setup. This is by far the most important part. You're going to want a good team setup, especially if you're doing a 4-stack. If you're playing with randoms, it's not going to be that good, but if you're going to want to know what you're going to be doing for your team, because you want to make sure that you get wins so you can increase your Gambit rank and get that sweet Masterwork Trust and some other sweet Masterwork loot. So, here's your team setup. This is pretty obvious, but you're going to want to have your best PvP player invade. Always check to make sure you have ammo if you are invading. Ammo is key. If you're not invading, make sure that you call out to let the invader get heavy ammo because they're going to want it, especially if you're running Sleeper or Queenbreaker. I guess Queenbreaker's not a power weapon, but still. Make sure they've got ammo if they need it. And then, if they have ammo, then split it with your teammates. There you go. Good variant that I've been using recently is the Taken Armaments mod, which drops from the raid. Basically, what it does is whenever you get a kill with your nade on a taken enemy, it has a high chance of giving you heavy ammo, which the heavy ammo goes right to your weapon and it reloads, or it doesn't reload automatically, but it goes right to your weapon. So just be mindful of that if you're using it. It's a really good. Use it on the blockers when they come in. It's really good during DPS phase if you don't have any ammo. But if you have taken armaments, I wouldn't recommend going for ammo. I would let the other people get it. But that's neither here nor there. Now, if you do not have ammo, you're going to want to ask a teammate to invade, because time is of the essence. You're going to want to make sure that you invade before they dunk, and because if they all dunk when you're invading or before you invade, the problem is that when you kill them, it doesn't really do anything. It just kind of scatters them. So, yeah. All right. If you're not invading, you're gonna want to focus on enemies, and you're gonna want to use power ammo if you need to. If you need to use it, go for it. But try and save it for damage on the primeval. You're gonna want to have one person go for higher amounts of motes, preferably the highest light of the team, since they will be able to kind of tank hits from the ads that are going around. One player should focus on killing blockers whenever they appear. If you do that, make sure you call out that you're going to be killing blockers. This will help kind of keep bank open, so that if you have to dunk quickly before the enemy team dunks, you can do that. That way, less motes are lost, and the games will go faster, which means you can get more games in for an hour, which means you can get more rank, which means you get more loot. And who doesn't like loot? The player who is keeping the bank open should be using Whisper the Worm or Sleeper Simulant in order to kill the blockers quickly. You want to kill them quickly. Now, the only problem with this strategy is if someone is using, if another team has a 4-stack, a lot of times they will dunk all at once. They'll go for all small blockers, dunk all at once, and go around and kill more ads and keep doing that. Your bank will basically overflow. If you do not kill ads at bank, the ads will overflow. You will be there for about a minute just clearing ads. In that time, the enemy can get about 2 taken ogres. 1 taken ogre for sure. Maybe taken ogre and a taken knight. Taken knights are a big pain in the ass because they're tanks. They're tankier than ogres. Ogres take like 2 sleeper shots, but knights also take 2. Alright. So, the other player should focus solely on dunking for small blockers to overwhelm the opponents and slow their progress. Of course, as I just said, this will not be effective if they have the same strategy and are going to dunk and are clearing their bank and keeping it open, which is what a lot of players have been doing, but I've also been with teams who haven't been doing that, and I always open up bank anyway, so it's not a big deal. But I've had to do that. Sorry, I've had to do that a lot recently, a lot more. That's no big deal. Tips: teamwork. Teamwork is going to make Gambit so much easier and so much more enjoyable. Play with your friends for a higher chance of success. More success, again, means more loot. Burning through ranks. Ranks give you powerful gear. They have a chance of giving you powerful gear. So, go have fun. Have fun. This is a game. If you're on that grind, I get it. It's going to be a pain. It's not going to be enjoyable after a while. But still, try to make every second count. Gambit is a pretty cool game mode, and there's nothing like this around. I get it can be boring because the rounds are pretty long. But hey, I like it. So, fun for me, man. Now, for the actual tips for each character. Warlocks. A good super to use is Storm Trance for clearing lots of low health enemies. An alternative to this is the Nova Warp. It's really good at clearing ads, especially for if you're keeping bank open. If you're not keeping bank open, it's still an amazing weapon to use. Or not weapon, duh. It's still an amazing super to use. It just kills so many ads quickly, especially if the ads are just spawning. Storm Trance and Nova Warp will be able to kill them all quickly, get those motes, dunk, and head to the next area. It's ideal. Now, Nova Bomb with Top Tree is going to be amazing for a lot of damage at once to enemies that are a bit tankier, such as, ogres and knights, primeval envoys, and the primeval themselves. But this should be used with a tractor cannon or a melting point active. Shattering Strike is also really good. The melting point is a lot easier to get procced than Shattering Strike. Useful exotics for the Warlock consist of the Skull of Kara with Nova Bomb, Lunafaction Boots, if you are all running Sleeper Stimulant. If you're running Whisper the Worm, I guess you can use it, but you're going to be burning through ammo really quickly. And a lot of people don't like having Lunafaction with Whisper the Worm. Because if they have like 3 shots, they're going to want to make sure that they're hitting headshots and not burning through all that ammo. But that's neither here nor there. Fitting Aspect is really good for that increased melee range if you're invading, and Nezarixin is really good. Make sure you use your rifts as much as possible to keep your team alive. If you are a Void Walker but you die a lot, then use the bottom tree to vitalize the Devourer perk. Titans. Titans, you guys can run any super you want. You guys have it easy. You guys have the high road here. Alright? Sunbreaker is amazing for clearing enemies, dude. And Melting Point, it's even better when utilized correctly. Striker is also very good against a large sum of enemies. Going ahead and just slamming them all at once. Thunder Crash is good against Primeval. It gets a guaranteed stun. Envoys, I believe it one-shots, if not takes them down a lot. Sentinel is very underused, but very good. I'm not even kidding, by the way. Bubble is amazing if you just want to pop your bubble with a Helm of Stand 14 on. That is, you guys can just sit in the bubble, and if they don't have a super, then they can't really touch you at all. If they have a golden gun, then that's a different story, where you just basically want to go team shot him. Or let him come in the bubble and team shot it. But with the new reworked Sentinel subclass, shooting through it gives you a damage buff, or does more damage, basically weapons of light. It shields you, and you do a damage buff, and you can shoot through the shield, which gives you the damage buff. Duh, I should say that. And you're going to kill the Envoy really quickly. You're going to just burn through him, dude. You're going to burn through him. So vitalize that. Sentinel itself is good for blocking incoming damage while invading. Then you can quickly strike your enemy down. When killing a Primeval, make sure you use... you have good usage of your rally barricades, especially if you're using towering barricades. Use them if you're going to die. This will kind of give you a breather from the action. Let you collect your thoughts for a couple seconds before that shield breaks and you're back in the action. Rally barricades are really good because, I mean, come on. If you don't have Lunafaction, you get to fire infinitely until as long as the shield lasts, you'll get to fire. Just unload on the boss. Useful exotics consist of the Mask of the Quiet One, Helm of St. 14, only if you're running the Defender with Bubble, Doomping Pauldrons, and Lion Rampant. Hunters. For Hunters, you guys also have the high road. All Hunter supers are amazing. They're pretty bueno. They're pretty good. Not pretty good, but they're really good. Alright. Gunslinger is excellent for killing the whole team when invading because of the new duration buff. Or because of the duration buff it had recently in Forsaken. You can also run a Celestial Nighthawk to deal a high amount of damage to the Primeval one shot, but you're going to want to wait to use that until the Primeval damage buff is at 5 or so, with a multi-point active or a Shattering Strike. Arc Strider with Radiant Flux is very good for dealing with a lot of enemies quickly, especially because killing enemies with Radiant Flux will extend the duration, which you want. And Tethered with an Orpheus Rig will do really good as long as you get enemies tethered. When damage is Primeval, make sure use of your Marksman's Dodge to reload quickly if there is no Lunafaction, Rift, or a Barricade. I did not personally use a Hunter yet in Gambit, but exotics I have seen used commonly are Celestial Nighthawk and the Orpheus Rig. Invading tips. This is really important if you're invading. Invading is what will get you guys the victory if no one's invading or you're a terrible invader. Listen to these strategies right here. Listen to these tips, sorry. If you have enough total motes to begin invasion, you're going to want to check to see if the other team is saving or sending. I will bring this up again later. If they are sending, they will have a few motes banked, but they will have a ton of individual motes. If they are saving, you're going to want to dunk all your motes. You need to call out to your teammates to dunk and send an invader over. Kill anyone you can to cost them a ton of motes, and set the enemy behind way back. If they're saving, bam, you can set their entire team down. You're going to want to focus on those who have the most motes. You can see how many motes they have to the left of their name. It'll say like times 15. If someone has times 15, go for them. You need to get them down. On all maps, you have one of 3 spots to spawn in. For Emerald Coast, it is trees, ruins, and beach. So you're going to want to know the map well. You're going to want to know the maps well. The strategies I mentioned before will be next, as in right now. There are 2 strategies teams have been using effectively, efficiently, and have been, winning because of them. The first strategy is to dunk for a blocker whenever possible. I mean, if you've got 5 and there are no motes on the ground, just go dunk it. Send over a small blocker. You dunk those points, and the other team has to deal with the blocker. It might seem pointless, but it will result in a large swarm of taken phalanxes if the strategy is used by the entire team. However, if you have 9 motes and there are none on the ground, hold off and just play defensive. Or you can go dunk, especially with the new Malfeasance quest step, where dying resets your mote, where dying takes back progress, takes back twice the motes you lost from your 400 progress. So again, be defensive, just dunk if you need to. But if you don't have that quest, just save up if you feel like it. If you don't feel comfortable and the enemy can invade, if the enemy can invade, I guess, if they're close to their invasion portal being active, then just go dunk. If they're not, then play it safe. Call it to your team. They need a mote. And if they listen, or if they pay attention, you should be able to get that mote and send over a blocker. And a large blocker makes a big difference next to a small blocker because large blockers or medium blockers are so annoying. If all goes well, you will get the 1 mote you need and can dunk it for a taken knight. Or a taken ogre if you're going for a large blocker. Keep this up, and the enemy will have to kill a lot of enemies if they ignore the blockers, forbidding access to depositing motes until they are all killed individually. This will allow the invader to kill the opponents swiftly if they're distracted and focusing blockers. This strategy ensures that if you die, you don't lose too many motes. The problem with the strategy is if they kill the blockers as they spawn individually, the small blockers won't really slow down anything. The other strategy is the high risk, high reward strategy. In this strategy, you'll be saving up motes for medium and large blockers. This will really slow the enemy down. Have one person focus for a large banker blocker right away. The other can go for medium blockers. However, as the name implies, this strategy is very risky, and I don't recommend it. I hate this strategy. I don't run it, but I have seen a lot of people use it effectively if they're good at Gambit. If an invader kills you before you can bank your motes, it's a heavy loss. If you lose 15 motes, you lost like a fifth of your team's score right there for Primeval. The other downfall is that if an enemy has Sleeper, they can kill the large blocker in 2 shots, so saving up for motes to, kind of slow enemy down won't really work too well, because again, they'll just use Sleeper in 2 shots and burn them with a nade. And if they've taken armaments, they get their shots back, plus 2 more shots. So, final tips. I know it's been long. I'm sorry, but this is it. Final tips. Remember, use weapons you're comfortable with and can use effectively and efficiently. You're going to want to devise a strategy and stick to it. This will help with success to grind for infamy once Forsaken drops. So, which it has dropped. As you can see, the script is a little old. You're going to want it so that we can grind for infamy whenever you feel like it. Grind up those ranks. This part, I can't say this enough. Callouts are so important. If you see an invader, call out their location. Call out if you need just 1 mote to a large blocker, so that way your team can leave some motes around. Callouts are key to victory. Without callouts, unless teams can like look around and kind of devise an idea of what the enemy, of what your teammates are thinking in their head, then they'll be fine. But still, it's just nice. It's just nice having communication and knowing strategies. Use supers and ammo wisely. If you waste all your heavy on the primeval with a low damage buff, you may be defenseless against opposing invaders. And if your primeval slayer goes up, it means all your damage is going to be down, because you will have wasted all your damage for nothing. Because if you burn all your ammo on the first stage of primeval, when there's no primeval slayer, all your ammo is gone, and if you die, all that damage you just did, all the ammo you just burned, will be for nothing. So use ammo wisely. Have your invader grab heavy if they need. They are the most important person. Invader is what's going to make or break the team. Along with communication, but invader is by far the most important person of the team. But I guess, yes, everyone is, before I could see you go in the comment section, relax. Every individual of the team is important. Everyone needs to be focused. Everyone needs to know what they're doing. Everyone needs to be part of a plan or a strategy. And everyone needs to be calling out, no matter what. If it's whether you have low health, there's a rift on you, there's a barricade on you, super, if you're popping super, or if you need a moat, or if you're going to invade or need someone else to invade. Those are just some callouts. I mean, those are the important callouts. But there are many more callouts, and you gotta have communication. You gotta be going. You gotta be going. You can't slow down at all. Because if you just spend a minute in confusion trying to figure out what you're doing, or a minute looking for a moat because your teammates aren't listening to you, that's no good. Your team's gonna fall apart, and you're not gonna be winning the game. Which, I mean, winning's not something, you're not gonna win every game, of course, but you want to win as many games as possible. So that way, it's less of a grind. You get infamy up. You grind for that legendary gear, powerful gear, exotics. Prime engrams are really good because they drop from the primeval. Malfeasance quest, you're going to want to get that done if you want to be grinding for that, because people have been grinding for 10 hours on that, and you're going to want to be getting games done quickly, dude. Anyways, enough of that. With weapons like Sleeper Simulant, they will be able to dominate and dispose the enemy. Now, by they I'm referring to the invader. This last one, just have fun, for gosh sake. There will be no loss of infamy. Okay, if you lose a game, you get infamy. You still get a decent amount of infamy. You may lose your streak, yeah. So I mean, again, win those games to get that streak up, get those packages. You hit 1300 infamy. You get that Masterwork Trust, which is really good, by the way. You just keep going, dude. Just keep going. Keep getting that infamy. Keep getting rank ups. Get packages, exotics even. And yeah, there will be no loss of infamy once again. Okay, and honestly, I know there's mixed opinions on Gambit. The games are super long. Yeah, they are pretty long. I'm not gonna lie. They can get pretty tedious. But I mean, this is just so cool. There's no one else out there that has done anything like this. And I mean, Bungie's had a lot of mess ups with Destiny 2, but this is something we gotta praise them on. We gotta be like, I mean, I know now that at first it was like, whoa, this is super cool, and now people are like, yeah, it's still cool, but kind of boring. Now, if you want to have a phenomenal gaming experience, get a 4-stack. 4-stack is what's going to make sure you have success. Make sure you have fun, because you're playing with people you know. Preferably with people you know, or you should just be playing with people, talking to them, having an all-around good time, hopefully. Or you're just going to be sweaty and grind for that malfeasance. Yeah. And I know, I made you guys listen to a bunch of information, but I hope this information has helped you guys out. And I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to do gameplay in the background. I haven't done a face cam video in a while, so I kind of wanted, or not a, I haven't showed my face in a while, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. What the hell? Yeah. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. Wait. Sorry. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. Before I leave, I want to say thank you guys so much. Support recently has not been that great, and I'm really disappointed in you guys. I think you guys should do better. No, I'm just kidding. Support, it has been going down, I'm not gonna lie, but we still got people going watching my videos, so that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. Can we get some thumbs up in the chat? Can we get a thumbs up? Let's stop being this cringy kid. If you have any tips or tricks or strategies that you guys use, exotics that you use, supers that you use, anything that you have for me for information, I will be sure to add it in to the video description. I will make sure to pin the post. And yeah, hope you guys are having a fun time with Destiny 2 right now. I know I am. Have not done the raid yet, or I haven't beaten the raid yet, but I am on Riven. I have a Riven checkpoint, and I am 383 or 382 light max. So yeah, I will be making a video on my raid loadouts and stuff. I will be doing some guides to the raid with strategies, because I know some people are still struggling with bosses like Shirochi, especially Shirochi and Vault, which I will be making a guide for soon. I just have to make the script, record it, get that footage down, and it'll be all bueno in the chat. We'll be all good. We got a GG in the chat. Alright. That's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Again, wouldn't be here without you guys. Have a great day. Or night. Because for me it's night, but duh. Anyways, see you guys next time. Peace.